feel like I should dance as my transition. Alrighty. Hi guys! So as you can hear from my bio, I'm Alexis. It's funny because a lot of people do know me, as a past TV reporter, as somebody who worked for Power 96.5. But what I hope you can hear from me today is I'm just somebody who is fearless in my pursuit of my passions. What I'm going to be sharing today is actually stories that I have never shared in public. So I believe there's value in vulnerability, and so that's why I'm sharing it today. The goal is for you to hopefully feel empowered and feel like you can pursue anything that you want to pursue. So, I'm from Chicago. I'm the first family to go to college. My mom actually had me at 16, and she was a very powerful woman in my life that has constantly pushed me to keep moving forward. And so, anyway, I got recruited by CBS, and I'd never lived in Michigan before in my life. I had never even visited here till my job interview. I ended up taking a leap of faith and moving here. I have no family here in Michigan. And I want to share, a little bit, some stories along the way that have gotten me to where I am. And you'll hear some of those obstacles, again, that nobody has really heard in public. Maybe some people have heard in private. So I moved here, and when I moved here, I signed a lease I subleased from a student for like 3 months, right? After subleased from that student, I had signed a lease for a new place, but I had a 2-week gap. You guys, because I had no family here, and because I was so new to my job, I was going to tell my news team, hey, I actually have nowhere to live in the next 2 weeks. I literally did not know where I was going to live for 2 weeks. So I remember I packed all my stuff from my apartment into my car, stuck my comforter and my pillow in the front seat, and I went to the news station, because I was a weekend reporter, so I work by myself primarily, till our anchor shows up at night. So that's why I did all the things, the camera, the producer, the writing. I packed my stuff, and I remember I parked my car all the way on the side of the lot, so that just in case somebody came, that nobody would really know that I might potentially sleep in my car tonight. And so I went in, and I actually think this was the moment I was so afraid, right? So I walk into the news station, the news studio, I remember I rolled in a suitcase with the clothes I knew I was going to wear for news, right, my professional clothes. And I remember I sat down, so I put my makeup on for the day, and I just started weeping. And I was like, God, I felt like you called me to come to Lansing, and here I am with all my stuff in my car, and I don't know where I'm going to sleep, and I'm paying rent from Illinois because I couldn't get out of my lease, and stuff here, and so I'm not going to stay at a hotel, And I remember thinking okay, I trust you. But in that moment, fear literally was sitting in the present day. I didn't know I was going to sleep, right? That's presently. But then the fear in your head, the mentality was man, maybe I made the wrong decision. How did I get to this space? And so I remember I wiped away the tears, put my makeup together, and I did news. I started covering the day. It just so happened that day I covered Jazz Fest. Jazz Fest is a fun story. It was a good story. It's a fun one. It feels good. And I remember I just was so focused on my job, focused on what's right ahead of me. When I was there, I was interviewing Terry. I don't know if you guys know Terry. He does a lot of our events here. Anyway, I was interviewing him, and he was like, hey, after your work today, you should come to our event. Let me give you a ticket. And in that moment when he was handing me the ticket, in my mind, right, fear came over me oh, wait, I don't know, I'm sleeping at night. What am I doing after work today? Oh, no. And I was like, no, thank you. I took the ticket anyway. Long story short, I do all of news, and it's now 10 o'clock at night. As I'm doing the web story for the next day. And again, I still don't know where I'm going to sleep. And at this point, I finally decided to text people I played volleyball with. Hey, is there any chance I can crash on your sofa? And so I go, I'm texting all these things, and I realized, you know what? I'm just going to go to this event. And so I went and I changed, I went to the suitcase, put on clothes. I drove to the event, parked my car super far so nobody could see. It was packed with stuff, and I didn't know I was going to sleep. And I started walking to the event. And I remember as I was walking to the event, I was okay, I'm afraid, but God, I trust you. I trust you. And that's all. I just trust you. It'll be okay. If I sleep in my car, it'll be okay. I believe in what I'm doing. You called me to be here. I believe in it. It's okay. It'll be okay. So I go to this event. As I'm walking up, there's a salsa band playing. Now, some of you may not know this, but I am a huge salsa dancer. And it just so happened that some of the people there knew who I was. They were like, Lexi! And I'm like, hi! So we danced salsa, and I was like, I'm just going to keep walking forward. Like, I don't know where I'm sleeping tonight, but I'm going to keep walking forward. So I danced salsa, they invite me to go to Crunchies. I'm like, what's Crunchies? Like, it's a restaurant. I show up, it's really not a restaurant. It's more like, I don't know, karaoke bar, but okay. So we go, and when we're there, finally someone asks, so, hey, like, you know, tell us about you, like, what's going on? And I finally decided to actually, like, be vulnerable and share my fear, I guess. I was like, actually, I don't know where I'm sleeping tonight. And in that moment, right, the person next to me said, you know, my roommate actually just moved to New York, so I actually have a 2-bedroom, and I have a room free and a bathroom free. And as you were saying this, I kid you not, I get a text from someone saying, hey, you crushed my shoulder tonight. So I share that story because, I think that when we see people in public lights, we don't see those things. But for me, that was a moment where I was literally confronted with fear. I physically did not know where I was going to sleep, but then emotionally had questioned everything I did. And I think that in those moments, this is what leads me to one of my main points, and it's probably going to be the focus today, is that fear is paired with your next open door. Fear is paired with your next blessing. And how do we get to that blessing? You keep walking. That day, everything about it, right? Walking, doing a story, I got that ticket. I was like, okay, maybe. I went to the event. Then they invited me to Crunchies. Those seemed like such small tasks, but in it I was still walking, and there was something mentally walking in faith. And I believe where faith is present, fear cannot live in that same space. And so that is just like one example that was tangible in a physical space that really showcased that fear is paired with your next blessing, and you just have to keep walking. Another time that this was present in my life is that when I was leaving news, I really felt like I was calling me to leave news, so then I took on a job at the radio station. But during that time frame, actually, part of the reason why I was leaving is because I was feeling this tension in my chest about like not really fulfilling my purpose. Like I felt like I was working for the wrong team, and not by a wrong news team, but I felt like the gifts that God had given me were not being used to glorify Him. I felt like we were glorifying tragedies and glorifying just difficult seasons in people's lives. And so during that time frame, though, I had given up everything to be a TV reporter. I moved to a state with my family here. I had changed my degree from pre-med to broadcast journalism. Everything I'd done was giving it up. So to give up my job, another section of fear comes in. And this is where I want to talk about fear mentally. I went around to some of the vendors here, and one of the questions I asked is there any fear you're battling? And I think a common fear is that we're not enough. That we're not enough. And in that moment of potentially quitting my job, I was like, am I enough? Am I enough? And it just so happened externally, I was being told I wasn't enough. My news director had done like a redirection meeting with me, and he had said that I was a bad writer, that he didn't like my writing style. And then in addition to that, the conversation was like, maybe you're not fit for this industry. I think you're a little too emotionally connected. Maybe you're just not fit for this industry. And I remember going home with those words and like, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm believing. Maybe I'm not enough. And this is another thing I want us to touch base on is lies. I think fear are lies from the enemy. Fears are meant to diminish, destroy, and dim the light that God has for us and our purpose. And so I think when we're confronted with fear, and this is why I'm not afraid of fear, I'm thankful for fear, okay? When we're confronted with lies, when we're confronted with things that potentially feed fear or feed a lie in our souls, it's an opportunity to command truth in your life. And so in that moment, I had to wrestle, am I not a good writer? Maybe, am I too emotionally invested? And a principle I decided to adopt in that moment was I do not give consent to changing my heart. And I do not give consent to changing who God's called me to be. I don't consent to that. And so there's going to be moments, because I went around and spoke to people, where you feel like you're not enough, especially when you're running a business. When you feel like maybe my idea wasn't as bright as I thought it was. Maybe we won't get all this money. Maybe we won't meet it to next year. Maybe I'll stay in the red, for the next 3 years. that's a lie from the enemy. And I think that the lie is meant to diminish your purpose. Typically, if there's something that's happening that you're afraid of or something that you're confronted with, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to literally confront it and replace it with the truth. And so instead of saying, I don't know if I can or I'm not enough, it's I will. I am enough. I can do it. And we have to replace those lies with truth. And fear is an opportunity to live in that truth and stand strong. And I also view fear as almost like a hurdle. And when you learn how to jump that hurdle in that small space, when a big challenge comes, you can look back at all the hurdles that you jumped and say that same truth to yourself that God has spoken to you and in your heart. And I think Effie, this event, is actually a perfect example, right? A year ago, she was talking about this. A year ago. And God blessed her. She just was like, I'm going to do it. And A, all of you are here, but B, every person that has spoken has been able to just speak words of life. That you can just feel it in this space. That we are going to leave pretty and empowered. Yes, we're going to leave. But why? Because Effie faced her fear. And Effie decided to go, even if the devil was trying to tell her, no, like stop it. You can't this, you can't this. And she can. And here it is today. The last story I actually want to share is me quitting my job to start my own company. Because I figured maybe there's some people in here that A, want to do that, or just has been wrestling with that idea or starting a new project. And then B, for everyone that is here, I just want you to know, I come across as like very strong. I was battling fear this morning. And the lie I heard this morning was, what if they don't connect with you? What if you sound selfish? What if you stumble? What if your story is not engaging? All those lies in my head were just speaking to me about potentially not connecting, and even with the business, maybe I should quit the business. And fear is paired with your next blessing. So I'm going to be vulnerable, and I didn't expect to share this today, but I had to talk over lunch, and I feel like there's a lot of moms here. When I decided to start this company, my family has been very struggling to understand that. They're like, you're the first to go to school, the first to get a degree, and now you're not going to use your degree, you're just going to like run a company? Like, that makes no sense. Like, you should just go get a job, be stable, and live a stable, beautiful life. But the calling feels such greater than me, right? I want to help. It's called Vision Success Marketing. I want to help people's visions become a success. So I want to help Hayden and Pope's vision for the rest of the world become a success. But fear, right? So fear they're not going to be accepted. Fear that my family is disappointed. And so recently, so I'm going to share a very recent situation, literally this past week. I was struggling financially in terms of the business. I have to pay back taxes and all those other fun things. I actually had health issues this past year, so I had a medical bill that came out of nowhere. And it's funny how, again, fear is paired with your next blessing. My mom called, and she's like, how's the business going? And I was like, it's good. She's like, really? Because I just checked your account. She's like, I just checked your account. This is the lowest I've ever seen it, and I'm just concerned about you. What's going on? I was like, I'm fine, Mom, I'm fine. I promise. I'm living within my means. I promise, blah, 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 right? And again, when I had decided to quit and start the business, it was a lot of tension with my family that they were disappointed. That was more like that's fine. And they didn't say we're disappointed, but you could sense that. My mom called, and we just had this talk, and here I am. My mom's also super financially stable, works in banking in particular, so that's not good. So that's why she can check my account, because she has access to funds that I don't know. But in that moment, actually, my mom said, I just want you to know, honey, I believe in you. And I believe in your skill, and I believe in your talent. I just wonder if you started this without enough capital. I'm just wondering if you should go back to the drawing board, work for a little bit, then come back to it. I believe in you. But what she doesn't know is that the fear, right? The shame, the condemnation, feeling like I'm not enough for my family. I don't make them proud. My mom sacrificed everything to have me at 16, and my mom work. I'm the first to go to college, all these things, and then here I am, financially broke and all these things, and I'm trying to pursue a dream, but it's not looking good in the physical. But what she doesn't know is that phone call literally saying, right? So what the devil used to try to hurt me was a space that the next blessing was paired with it, right? That God used to speak healing and life. My mom literally said, I just want you to know I believe in you. And it took a financial low for my mom to believe in me. But not only that, guys, the next day my mom sent me a text and was like, hey, I just want you to know I deposited money in your account. I want receipts of all the taxes paid off. And I was like, wow. So healing from a place of, and this relates to fear, but spaces that we're in valleys, that's a space for God to bless us. It's a space where I cannot physically do it. I don't even know the next step. I probably would have done it. But God allows himself to step in. And when he steps in, not only does he just step in to meet our basic needs, he steps in with healing from past wounds. Alexis, you are enough. Your mom just told you that. You know, he steps in financially. Not only that, the person that is providing for you financially is the person that you thought doesn't believe in you and is disappointed in you. And so I just share all this because I strongly believe that we have to make a good relationship with fear. When there is fear in your life, you have to, this is what I do. I want to give you guys like the steps that I process through on how to create mental toughness. I have a moment where I hold that thought captive and I find the root. So, okay, I'm afraid that what? That I'm not enough, that this business won't succeed, that I'll disappoint a client, that I won't, that maybe they won't reach their goal. I hold that thought captive and then I put it through a lens. Is this fear driven with the intention to take away from something? Or is this an opportunity for me to step up and see God move in a space that maybe I couldn't move alone? And I think that when you look at things from that lens, you do get to do supernatural things that don't make sense. I'm 26 years old, and again, the first of all these things, and it's not even me, it's literally God. It's been a blessing I got to work in news. It's a blessing I got to work for our #1 hip hop station in town. Like, it's a blessing that I even get to be here. Those are all privileges. But why? Because it starts with that mind. So holding the thought captive, am I making a decision based on fear, or am I making a decision based on a space for me to grow? And God is going to have to show up for it to work, just like today with what Effie has done today. So that's one of the first things I do. The next thing is, actually, these lovely two told me this quote, and I love it, that strength is actually not the absence of fear. It's about looking fear in the eye and still choosing to go anyway. And so how do you overcome your fears? You look at fear in the eye and you say, I'm going to go anyway. You tried it, say it, not today. I'm going to go anyway. I'm going to go there. Anyways. I talked about this earlier, but I asked myself, what do I give consent to? So do I give consent to believe I'm not enough? Do I give consent to the fact that I'm not a good writer? Or do I give consent to, I'm a great writer? I give consent to, I can do this, and it will be great, and people will purchase my products, and people will be impacted across the globe. So you decide what you give consent to. Is what is scaring me for a bigger purpose than myself? I think, again, if the devil's trying to diminish, it's like 3 Ds. So diminish, destroy, or dim. Typically it's because there's a purpose that's greater, that's going to serve more people than just yourself. And so asking yourself that question, does what I'm afraid of, is it for a bigger purpose, bigger than me? Then typically you're supposed to choose that route. Typically you're supposed to choose that route.
Right.
Sorry. Okay, so when there's a lie that hits you, make sure you have locked in your reply. So I actually have on my bathroom mirror, I am enough. And it's in a marker. And there's moments that I don't feel enough. I go to that mirror and I go, I am enough. So I can speak truth into that lie. And that's my combat to the lie of the fear. And then the last thing I want to say is that your capacity to influence is as big as your capacity to endure pain. Your capacity to influence is as big as your capacity to endure pain. And what I mean by that is with whatever you're choosing to pursue, whatever it is, whether it's great parenting, whether it's, again, work for above and bigger than ourselves. The capacity of challenges you're willing to endure, moments that you think you don't know where you're going to sleep. There's so many other moments I had like that. That's just one that was really pressing. I feel like I needed to share. The capacity you're willing to endure pain and handle those valleys and go ahead, hit them head on, is the same capacity you're going to be able to influence people. So if it's painful, if it's hard, it's typically going to be worth it for you and so many other people. So that's what I wanted to share today. Thanks for listening.